I was floundering in my relationship with God. And because when you are ever close to someone and then you lose that, you know what you're missing. And so I was just like, oh, I need you, God. My name is Eileen States, and I am the associate pastor currently at the Marietta Seventh-day Adventist Church, north of Atlanta. So my personality is extremely driven, as in goal setting, and this is where I'm going, and I kind of have my life kind of planned out and outlined. And I think that God looked down on that and smiled and made some changes to my plans. I was floundering in my relationship with God, and because when you are ever close to someone and then you lose that, you know what you're missing. And so I was just like, oh, I need you, God. And I was getting back into exercising and stuff like that. And so I began to listen to sermons by a man named Ty Gibson. And as I listened to them, I would come into the house and I would just be weeping because of his picture of the character of God. Even though I had fallen in love with God prior, all of a sudden the love of the Father, the love of Jesus, it was just so powerful to me. That has become my driving force, especially as I later got into actually working as a chaplain and as a Bible teacher for 12 years, just wanting to paint a picture of God that is so irresistible, a God who loves them and is pursuing them. That's the driving force that I have. If I can help young mothers, again, raise their children to have that amazing picture of who God is, I think that's what just propels me into ministry.
It's a privilege to speak on behalf of Pastor Eileen States on this day. And she was called to the Washington Conference right out of Walla Walla and was a pastor here in, I believe it was 2 different churches. And I remember we went on a Adventist history tour, and she and her husband Eric, anytime there was a waiting period, the rook cards would come out, lots of fun. Also, I greatly appreciated how Grace Under Fire, some people weren't nice with a woman pastor, sadly, and she was very gracious and kind. And I also came back to Fletcher Academy and did a week of prayer, and I could see her spiritual mentoring of the young people and the spiritual depth and the discipleship that she brought. So I'm very proud of Eileen and her husband Eric and their beautiful children, and we celebrate you today.
Eileen and I have been friends since we were college girls together. And we worked at summer camp together. We were student missionaries on neighboring islands. We ended up, after graduation, we got married to our husbands, and we ended up serving both of us couples in Washington Conference. God has given her such a strong sense of his call. She had it even in college. She knew he was calling her to the ministry. And so through thick and thin, through all the ups and downs of pastoring and serving as a chaplain, she has known without a doubt that is what God has called her to do, and that he equips her to do it. And so there's no stopping her. As long as Jesus is by her side, she knows exactly where she's supposed to be, and that is inspiring to me. I remember her telling me once that she had been sitting in a chair and having worship, and her kids were just chaotic all around her. And she was trying to have worship, trying to study, trying to pray. And after that was over, she ended up just being frustrated with them. And then she stopped herself and she said, "I'm sorry. She said, I was just spending time with Jesus, and I want him in my heart, and this isn't how he wants me to act." And so for me to see her example of honesty, again, Eileen is just so forthcoming and honest, and apologizing to her kids. To me, that's a beautiful thing. Again, a taste of heaven on earth, to have that kind of relationship.
That's my desire, is just, again, to paint a picture of God that is so irresistible, that is very passionate about them, and a friendship with them that will keep them solid in a world that is so unstable. If my commissioning will encourage other people to follow the call of God, I am all for that. And I have many young people. I'm studying with like 30 little young kids throughout every week. And if some of them who are going to be there are like, I could do that too. Yeah, I'm okay with that.